there we have him in his record glory. There we go. Transformers Prime, Robots in Disguise, Ultra Magnus. Now, he's, as far as articulation goes, he has a little bit of movement, you know, in his head in robot mode. Not a whole lot. He's got this big kind of cab thing obstructing a lot, so there's not really a whole lot that's going to go on there. His shoulders, you know, and his arms, he's got 360 rotation here, and he's got, you know, he's got a lot of movement here. 360 here. You know, he bends at the elbow. His elbows only bend this way. They only bend out this way. They don't go backwards. So just up this way. 360 rotation with the hands. He does have a hip torso pivot, and you can turn it all the way around. So that is kind of cool. You can turn that all the way around. The back part kind of gets in the way of that a little bit, but it's not really. You can still get it. You can still get it there. As far as his legs go, you've got the one ball joint here at the hip, so you can kind of do this, and you've got 360 degrees here. You can bend his knees. You can bend his knees forward. They don't go back. And his feet have no movement whatsoever. His feet are just molded like right together into the shins. They just don't go anywhere. So articulation, you know, it's all right. It's normal. It's not anything special, not anything terrible. Now, as far as his weapons go, he's got this kind of rocket launcher missile thing. Kind of boring, kind of plain, with this like funky red tip on there. It's kind of whatever, you know. He can hold that and, you know, kick Decepticon tailpipe if he likes. Now for the mech tech type of gimmick here. You know, this thing. Let's just kind of look at this for a minute before we talk about Ultra Magnus anymore. This thing becomes his hammer. You kind of flip this blue piece up, and it locks into place, and then it becomes his hammer. Now there is a light gimmick that is supposed to turn on when you transform this. Mine turned on and then didn't turn off, and then it just kind of died. So Unicronobot got the same figure, and when he transformed his hammer, the light didn't even work. So I don't know if this is just us having bad luck with the gimmick, or if this is a quality control issue. I'm not really sure, but it was kind of disappointing. Now, as far as this actually goes, as a hammer, you know, and you put it in his hand, it does look. It does look kind of cool. It does look kind of cool. The only thing is, the way that his shoulders are constructed, this is a very thin kind of connection for his shoulders, and this weapon is very heavy, so it weighs the whole arm down. You can get him to pose it, you know, in some kind of cool ways, I guess, you know, but it's kind of a pain in the butt, and you know, this weapon is just really heavy. So you know, I don't know. This is kind of a blah like accessory for me, and I don't like how much it just weighs the arm down. So that is what it is. You know, Ultra Magnus, he has to have his hammer. So all right. So would I recommend this guy? Tentatively, hesitantly. Yeah, I guess I would, depending on what you're looking for. If you're a Prime completist, like I am, and you want all the figures in the Prime line, then you've already made your decision, you're going to get the guy anyway. If you're kind of on the fence, I would say, you know, think about it. Still, you know, think about it. You know, his mold is great. His face is fantastic. I love his face. he's an Ultra Magnus that is not a white repaint of Optimus Prime, so that definitely is a plus in his favor. He is not, you know, he's not a repaint. They definitely tried to make him his own character and give him his own look, which I think for the most part was very successful. I mean, I do like the way he looks, with the exception of these awful chintzy, thin looking shoulders that are not hidden, despite the fact that you put the shoulders out the right way, but you can still see the chintzy, thin attachment there, and that to me kind of that just kind of does bother me. And $25 for this figure is a little steep. He feels a little cheap for $25, especially if you get him and the gimmick doesn't work. I don't know if it was just Unicronobot and I having bad luck, or what with the gimmick, but your gimmick might not work. So, or if it works, it might malfunction. So who knows with that. So if you're on the fence, I'd say, you know, I'd say you could probably pass on this guy. He's not necessary. But if you like Ultra Magnus and you're a completist, you probably are gonna want him. So you know, he's all right. He's all right. Grab him if you want him. He's a decent guy. He's a decent figure. But definitely not a must-have or you know, a necessary to any collection. But yeah, so until next time, all hail Megatron.